Are you tired of constantly having sick kids and it seems like you can barely have any time where everyone is healthy before someone's sick again? I'm not an expert on child health, but I have found a few important principles that keep my family healthy and kick illnesses fast. I will say that working in the ER, I see tons of patients of all ages who come in for common viruses that pharmaceuticals don't even have anything to offer for. And in the meantime, those patients typically haven't tried anything at home other than Tylenol, and they have no idea that there are actually tons of cost-effective resources at their fingertips. In my opinion, the answer to this question of how we can kick illnesses fast, in most circumstances, is to hit it hard with herbs and supplements at the first sign of symptoms. I use a ton of different types of immune boosting herbs and supplements, but some of the things that I use are like fresh ginger tea and eating as much fresh garlic as I can handle, using high dose vitamin C and zinc and vitamin D, elderberry, echinacea, extract, wild cherry bark, thyme, oregano, etc. I use this tincture a lot for my kids. Then there are different home therapies that I like to use, things that you can actually make and inhale or soak in or things like that. And that includes things like making mustard plasters out of mustard and putting that on your chest, taking Epsom salt baths and making herbal poultices, and using essential oils to breathe in at night. That's super helpful. Then I always tell my patients that the best food for pretty much any kind of sickness is soup made from homemade bone broth. And an super easy way to do this is to buy a whole chicken and boil it in a big pot of water with, of course, all the bones in it because it's a whole chicken. And then you're gonna take that chicken out and separate the meat from the bones. Throw the bones away if you want, or give them to your dog because they should be soft enough to eat at that point. And then put the meat in, chop up a bunch of vegetables, put those in, and you have a super easy and nourishing soup to eat. I will say that when it comes to using pretty much any kind of natural medicine, I've found that it's really the combo of many things that really makes the effect, and also the frequency. You have to read on the back of the tincture bottles and supplement bottles and everything, of course, but a lot of them can be taken 3 times a day. So that means you're gonna wanna do it 3 times a day to get the most effect out of them. So I'll give my kids like at least 5 different things in one day, and most of those can be taken 3 times a day, so I'll give them something at each meal. I have found that if you really only give 1 or 2 things, that you're most likely not going to see much of an effect. So don't get discouraged if that's been you in the past, because you really just need to add in a few more things so that you have multiple different things supporting your kid's immune system at the same time. I know that I sometimes get overwhelmed when I see my kid coming down with the virus, because I know that I'm going to have to put forth extra effort to get them to take herbs 3 times a day, and just to stay on top of things, stay on top of our regimen, and get them to do home therapies and everything, or I'll have to cancel my plans and stay home to let them sleep more and whatnot. But ultimately, I like to remind myself that me doing all of these things up front from the very beginning really does spare both them and me a lot of suffering for days to come, because choosing to focus in the beginning on nipping the sickness in the bud really does keep from the kid having a full-blown illness that lasts for like a whole week. It is worth it. And of course, remember that feeding kids a healthy diet packed full of nutrients on a daily basis will always serve as the foundation for good health. I know it's not always easy, and I struggle with that, but it is worth the effort. And of course, childhood sickness is totally an inevitable part of raising kids. We're all going to face it one way or another. But the good news is that there are still lots more resources available to us than what most people realize are even out there. So good luck to you.